Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm George Conley with Scratch Golf Tips, and today we're going to be doing another player analysis. And today, the player analysis is going to be of one of golf's brightest young stars, Collin Morikawa. If this is your first time watching a player analysis on this channel, we go over a few things throughout this video. So the first thing I'll be going over is his collegiate career. We'll be going over some results and stats, the number side of it. Then we're going to be going through Collin's swing. We have a bunch of videos of his driver swing, iron swing, and his putting stroke. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about his mental game and what the future may look like for Collin. Before we head into it, I would appreciate it if you like this video, if you enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel so you can see all of our new videos. So now let's dive into Collin's collegiate career. Collin played his collegiate golf at the University of California, Berkeley, and he played there between 2015 and 2019. During his time there, he won 5 collegiate tournaments. And in 2017, he had a great year playing in team events. He played on both the Arnold Palmer and Walker Cup teams, where he won both of those. Now, after his graduation in 2019, he became pro. He was in that class with 2 other notable golfers, Matthew Wolff and Viktor Hovland. Those 3 came out on a tour and they hit the ground running. Now, if we look at all these players' careers in comparison, right now Collin is 24, Viktor's 23, Matt Wolff is 22. So their careers have taken different trajectories. Matt Wolff has 1 win on the PGA Tour, and recently he's been struggling a great deal. Hovland has 2 wins. He does not have any majors. One of those wins was in an alt-field event, but he's had a solid career so far, played a lot of great events, a lot of top 10s. Collin has 3 wins outside of majors, rather. So he has 4 wins total, 1 win in an alt-field event, a couple really great wins at some tough courses, and then obviously his major championship at Harding Park. But let's go through his seasons on the PGA Tour and see how he's performed. In 2019, Collin did not obviously play the full season. He didn't have full exemption. He only played 9 events, but he made all 9 cuts. Obviously, he got that 1 win at the Barracuda Championship, and he also had 4 top 25 finishes. Now we move into 2020. This is the first season that he had full exemption, so he played the 2019 season on some sponsors exemptions, but once he won the Barracuda, that gives you a few years of exemption into all events. So that's a huge way for Collin to get on tour, and this 2020 season is where he really asserted himself as a dominant force. He played in 21 events and made 19 cuts. 13 of those 19 made cuts were top 25s, and obviously he had 2 wins. The 2020 Workday Charity Open, which was played at Merrifield Village, where that's Jack's course where the Memorial is played, and then he won his first major at the 2020 PGA Championship. One thing that's always so impressive about rookies like Collin, and at this time he was a rookie because he didn't have full exemption that previous year, he made 19 of 21 cuts, and he really had not seen many of those courses. So he's going up against these players who have been on tour for 5, 10, 15 years. They go to these stops regularly, they know these courses. Collin does not, and he still rocked it that year and played incredible golf, winning twice. Now let's talk about the 2021 season through the 6th of June. Collin has 17 events. He's only missed 3 cuts, so still making a lot of cuts. He's had 14 made cuts. 9 of those finishes from the made cuts are top 25s, and he has 1 win. That win came at the WGC Workday Championship, and I think that sets a precedent for Collin. So for context here, the Workday Championship is normally held in Mexico because of the COVID pandemic. It was held in Florida at the Concession. Now this is a course that has never been played on tour, so all of the guys are new. There's no course knowledge going into that, and Collin had a dominant win, and I think it kind of showed that the experience level, that wasn't a factor, because there are some guys who play Augusta 20 years and they just have an advantage. No one had the advantage. That was just an even playing field, and Collin was clearly the top dog after that. So those are some of his results since joining the PGA Tour. Let's talk about the stats that have helped him become the dominant player he is. All of these stats are also from the 2021 PGA Tour season through the 6th of June, and they are very impressive. So Collin ranks 1st in greens and reg percentage and 1st in birdie average. There is obviously some correlation between hitting your greens and reg and converting on birdies, but having the best green and reg percentage is a testament to how freakishly impressive Collin's ball striking is. There are a lot of guys who have watched Collin on the range, watched him in rounds, and they will easily call him one of the best strikers of the ball that they have ever seen. And this certainly works for Collin in his favor. Collin is also 12th in driving accuracy and 14th in scoring average across the tour. Obviously, if you're going to be that high in those 2 categories as well. That's going to lead to some great finishes, some wins. Being 14th in scoring average is great. I would expect that to improve because Collin can stripe the ball. 12th in driving accuracy is actually something he's worked up to. He's getting more confidence with the driver, with the 3-wood. He plays a nice fade, so committing to that ball flight, which not a lot of players do. Now a lot of players are playing a draw, some are switching over to the fade, but Collin rocks that fade. But it's a testament to having that 12th in fairways. That's a great stat to have, or 12th in driving accuracy rather, and then converting that with the irons and being the #1 player in greens and regulation is huge. And you look back at any year, whoever's #1 in greens and reg, that's a player who's winning, finishing high in the FedEx Cup, and making a lot of money. So that's Morikawa's college career, that's Morikawa's PGA Tour playing career thus far, and some stats. Let's look at the swing that got him there. So first, I'm just looking at this super slow motion look at Morikawa's iron swing. I think it's a fairly standard takeaway. You can't really get a great feel of the tempo in this video. We're going to see it in the video of his driver, but I'm going to pause it right here on the top of the backswing. That slightly bowed wrist is a popular move we've seen, and I love how he comes through the ball. That move in transition, I'll replay it a few times here, is such a lovely move. Again, Morikawa is a natural fader of the ball, and he's stuck to that flight. He's committed to that flight, which is great. I don't think he should do anything otherwise, so that's been helpful for him. You'll see a lot of guys kind of come to that position at the top and then really drop that trail arm into the slot, and that will create a right to left ball flight, or the draw ball flight for a right-handed golfer. And that helps some people, that helps them with their distance, but often that can be associated with a lack of accuracy. So Collin has kind of stuck with this fade flight, and obviously his move through transition shows that flight. I love the rotation, both upper body and lower body. It's not out of control, but it definitely leads to some power, and I feel like every time he swings a club, he's perfectly balanced. I've never seen the guy off balance. It's so impressive, and it's so repeatable. We see a lot of guys who have a great ball striking week. You know, they'll have this one week where they're striping the ball, and the next week they have to rely on their scrambling, they miss a cut. It feels like every week Collin's ball striking is on point. He doesn't miss. So that was the slow motion iron swing for Morikawa. Let's take a look at his driving swing in real time. This just shows his tempo. This is on the 18th hole at Augusta, and there's a tempo. So as you can notice, that backswing is notably slower than most players on tour. And this is a backswing that I have even tried to emulate myself. I love the slower backswing. We've seen some guys like Schauffele, Cantlay, Morikawa, they're taking these clubs back a lot slower, and it just looks like they're in more control. There are a lot of guys with fast swings on tour who make it work. John Rahm has a very fast backswing. Matt Fitzpatrick, very fast backswing. But there's some waywardness in their driving, there's some waywardness in that accuracy, and obviously we can see Morikawa does not have that waywardness. Because of this slow tempo, he can really stay within himself and commit to the ball flights that he has. And again, I could replay this move through transition on repeat just because it's so nice. It doesn't look like it's out of tempo at all. When he does miss, he will get a little bit quick. So I will say that's one drawback to that really slow takeaway, is sometimes if you get too hung up, you want to catch up to it and you really want to get to the ball too fast. And then that'll lead to you opening up the body too quickly, you open up the club face too quickly, and then that's going to lead to an exaggerated slice. And Morikawa's miss, especially with the driver, is that slice out to the right where you lose distance and obviously you lose accuracy. But if that tempo and that rhythm stays consistent, he stripes it all day. Now let's take a look at Collin's putting stroke. So for context here, Collin had really struggled with putting throughout college. I say really struggled. He wasn't a horrible putter, but compared to his ball striking, the putting just wasn't up to par with the rest of his game. So recently, this season, it was just a few months ago, Collin switched to the claw grip. Now the claw grip has helped a lot of guys. It's also hurt a lot of guys. So I can think of Tommy Fleetwood, putted much better when he switched to the claw. Justin Rose switched to the claw. Phil Mickelson has used the claw. He uses it sometimes on certain putts. Morikawa benefited very heavily from using the claw grip. So now looking at Morikawa, this is just a short putt that he made. You can see that claw grip up close, and then you can tell that the tempo in this putting stroke is not dissimilar to the tempo of his full swing stroke, which is something that I really, really like. We see a lot of players with very fast tempos try and have that slow takeaway with the putter and then bring it through, but there seems like there's something out of rhythm there, and there's a lack of consistency when you switch from that full swing to that putting tempo. There's no continuity there. Collin's slow takeaway on the full swing and the slow takeaway on the putting swing match. I like that continuity. He's working very hard in his putting. It's certainly the part of his game that he's brought up recently, and I think he'll continue to do so. And if that guy gets hot with the putter, I feel like it's almost Rory McIlroy-esque. Rory's always been such a great driver, such a great ball striker, but his putter lets him down. If Rory's putter is on one week, he's dominant. If Collin's putter is on, I think he'll be even more dominant than prime Rory. So that's all the swing video, and there's one last thing I like to touch on in these player analyses, and that is the mental side of the game. How mentally strong are these players? Now, when I watch golf, I always like watching the players that many people find boring. People who don't show much emotion, who aren't fist pumping or really pouting after a shank. Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, you'll never see a smile out of them, but I like that mental toughness. Now, Morikawa isn't so stoic like a Schauffele or a Cantlay, but he's not electric like Tiger with the fist pumps or Jordan Spieth talking to his ball all the time. He's somewhere in the middle, which I think is a great place to be. In research for this video, I've listened to a bunch of press conferences that Collin Morikawa has been in, and there seems to be one consistent theme. He's always focused on winning. There's some guys out tour who are very content with the top 5, some guys who are focusing on making cuts or working on certain parts of their game. Morikawa doesn't care about any of it. He says his game is always doing well. I've never heard him in a press conference say, oh, I'm working on it. He's always like, my game's in a great place, I'm here to win. Before the Masters that was played in the fall of 2020, Collin had a very interesting press conference, and I thought I would show you this snippet from it. I think it's very telling about his mentality. So Morikawa is goal-oriented, he's driven, he's a hard worker, he has won, and he's ready to win many more. Looking at the future of Collin Morikawa, it's very easy to say Collin's future is very bright. He already has 4 wins and a major under his belt. I see him getting a lot better. He's 24 years old, so certainly one of the younger players out there. Definitely a very young guy with 4 wins, with major championships, and he just has a mentality that's fierce. He's like Justin Thomas. If he comes in second place, that's not a positive. He hates losing, and he's so driven to win. I see him winning a lot. Looking back on Collin's career, he hasn't really been able to find that classic groove of the PGA Tour, not because of his own play, but because in 2019, he was just playing on sponsors exemptions, and he only had a few months of full status until COVID hit. That messed up the schedule. He's playing different courses. They're just a lot different. He didn't get to play in the Open because the Open wasn't played last year. So once things settle in, and once Collin settles in and gets course knowledge, he's going to be dangerous. 5 years from now, when Collin has visited all these courses that he's playing, where he knows them, where he knows how he performs, where he knows the breaks of the putts, he's just going to be even more dangerous. He's going to win more golf tournaments. If anybody watched the last round of the 2020 PGA Championship at Harding Park, he's gutsy, he can play in the clutch, he steps up to the big moments, and he's great under pressure. I think that that's a formula to win many more major championships as well as big tournaments. Let me know what you think about Collin Morikawa's game in the comment section below. I love to respond to comments, so anything you have to say, any thoughts on his putting stroke, full stroke, his future, whatever you have to say, let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading them. If you like the apparel that I wear in these videos, I wear John Morgan Sportswear. They are a proud partner of Scratch Golf Tips, and if you want to get some of this great clothing, you're looking to boost up your closet for this upcoming golf season, then you can click the link in the description. You can also use code SGT2021 and I'll get you 20% off your order. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Play well and take care.